Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm bringing you yet another beautiful custom tenor sized John Kinnard ukulele. And what makes this ukulele rather unique is that it has one of my favorite tone woods, which is the walnut wood, um, not only on the sides and back, which is where you would typically find it if you were to use walnut as a tonal wood for your instrument. Very beautiful walnut on the sides and back. Wow, but it's also here on the front of the instrument. Now, usually when you build an ukulele, um, koa is usually like the go-to where you put it in terms of on the front, sides, and back. But once you kind of steer away from there, and I'm sure there's other woods out there that where you can just go like mango, you can just do all front, back, and sides. Um, Once you start going into like woods like walnut, you usually have them on like the sides and back, and then you have something like stiffer on the front, so you can get a little more projection or whatever kind of quality or tone wood that you want to have on the front, like say koa, or you want cedar or redwood, sinker redwood, spruce top, very common choices. But this one has all walnut, meaning that you're gonna have that walnut sound, which is to me in my ears, walnut is on the warmer side. It's not going to have as much of the low ends because it's not stiff like like rosewood, but it still has a pretty mature sounding warmer sound in terms of how like where I would place it on the tonal spectrum. So for me, I'm just a big fan of walnut wood and the sound, the tonal quality that it creates. So to have it all on the front, back, and sides of this instrument. And to see what the end product is with this Kinnard, it's very wonderful, and I really, really do dig and enjoy this instrument. So before we get into the sound, let's go ahead and talk about some of the beautiful aesthetics with this Kinnard. So again, front, back, and sides, beautiful walnut wood, nice brown look, and then you also have a lot of the wood grain patterns, as you can see, very visual here on the front. On the side, just really beautiful. You even have a little more of that orange color. Looks very similar to koa, but this is the walnut wood, as well as the back. I like how it kind of widens like a little semi half circle like this. Again, beautiful grain pattern, and then all the lines running through the instrument. Um, just very nice stuff. And then you even had the walnut as the binding as well on the front and on the back. And it's paired very lightly with some wood purfling. On the back, you have a black and white kind of wood purfling that runs around the back of the instrument, as well as right down here in the center of the instrument. And then here around the sides, with the binding on the back and the front, along with this nice little side port here, as well as on the front around the perimeter of the instrument. So really nice stuff. You can also see it right around the rosette right here. And then it's a pretty cool rosette because you're having different cuts of the walnut wood, say like here, here, and here, and here. And then you have a nice contrast with not only, again, that wood purfling, so you get more of that kind of whitish kind of color, but you also get the blackness from the ebony that you have little patches of around the rosette. So really nice and cool rosette design. You also have the ebony on the bridge, the fretboard, as well as the headstock with the classic Z cutout from John Kinnard. And then you also have the ebony backplate on the back of the headstock. And then you have a mahogany satin finish neck. And again, little cool design here in the center of the neck. You have pieces of walnut right here, 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, and then you have 2 pieces of the ebony right here. And then it has the outside perimeter of the wood purfling. And then here you have your strap button on the heel of the instrument. So just all around beautiful, beautiful stuff. And again, I just love the aesthetic of this instrument. Just very brown, very woody. There's no like shell on there. There's no palo abalone. So it's just gives off a very kind of earthy look. So I really dig the aesthetic. And you can even see here we have a piece of walnut on the 12th and 13th fret, outlined with the black lines, as well as that wood purfling right here in the 12th and 13th fret. Something important to note is that this instrument is 13 frets to the body, which is something that is usually not that common on tenor instruments. It's most common to either have the 14 frets to the body, or sometimes if you're going more for that kind of classical traditional, where the neck joins the body of the instrument on the 12th fret, which is very common in classical guitars. But it does join at the 13th fret of the instrument. Of course, you have your fret markers here on the side of the instrument, so when you're looking down, you can clearly see where you are on the fretboard, because on the fretboard itself you don't have any of the fret markers. And then you can even see, again, more of that wood purfling that wraps all the way around the perimeter of the fretboard, as well as around the headstock. And then the John S. Kinnard in mother of pearl here on the top. UPT planetary Goto tuners, all in black in that kind of diagonal shape. So really cool, very typical of Kinnard's customs. And then one last thing that I want to point out, which I probably should have pointed out way earlier on, but I'm sure you guys already realized that this ukulele has a cutaway. This is the Venetian cutaway. Venetian meaning it's more of a rounded and it doesn't kind of curl up or hook up. That is the Florentine cutaway. So this is the Venetian one. So this one has more of a rounded kind of finish right here versus it doesn't like hook up like that. So when you're playing all the way down the fretboard, as you can see, it's just you can utilize it very much so if you ever find yourself playing all the way up here on the top parts of the fretboard. So yeah, all around just a wonderful looking aesthetic instrument. But now going into the sound, one of the things that I'm a big fan of with Kinnard's instruments, which is why it's like one of my favorite like customs out there, is I love the sweetness, the warmth, and just the sustain that you get from these type of instruments. I've always been just a big fan of, of that kind of sound and the sound quality that comes from Kinnard instruments. But even if I play another Kinnard and there's different wood combinations, that's just one of the characteristics of the Kinnard custom, the way they brace it, the way they create or build their instruments. You're always gonna get that sweetness and that nice, just very good feeling kind of tone that I like to look for in my instruments. So for example, if I play on the A string, play the C note, it's very sweet. And you can hear that nice sustain, the vibrato. In that 12th fret. Very nice. You can hear that overtone. The nice sustain. Now you add in all the other notes of the strings, or all the other strings. Nice full sound. This nice C chord, this F major 7. Just a very nice rounded, sweet mid-range tone. And for my biased opinion, I love that mid-range. But I also love the note articulation of each note. So meaning if I pluck each note individually, everything is nice and clean, nothing gets muddied over, nothing kind of jumps out too loud, or everything just rests in that nice pocket. Even up here, very sweet. Nice clean sound all the way up here. All the way on the 9th and 10th and 11th fret. Very nice. I will note that this instrument does have a radius fretboard, so you have a slight curvature on the fretboard. So when I play these more difficult chords, I can feel the difference of the radius. The neck on this instrument is slightly on the thicker side, meaning it's, if I think of like, say, ko'olaus or kamakas or like those kind of instruments, like the K-brands, they have a very, like a traditional sized neck where it's not too chunky, it's not too skinny. This is kind of slightly on the thicker end. So for those of you who have bigger hands, or you're a guitar player and you're used to like grabbing a lot of the neck, this instrument has that kind of neck for you. It's not like one's better than the other, say skinnier necks are better or thicker necks are better. It really just depends on the anatomy of your hand. What you prefer. Do you like grabbing a lot, or do you like not grabbing a lot in terms of like, how thick it is? So just wanted to point out that this ukulele does have the radius fretboard, but it also has a slightly thicker neck, depending on what you folks prefer. So just wanted to illuminate that. Yeah, this G7 chord is so sweet. Just so sweet. So this is just the bottom two strings, the E and the A. If I were to do the C and the E, or C and the A string, I can just very sweet the vibrato. Very nice. So let's go ahead and check this out with a sound sample. Here we go. Nice sweet tone. So this is what the instrument will sound like. Do some strumming.